What's going on YouTube? Trevor with McNeil's Garage here. If you've seen the last episode, you've seen me and Dad, we got the engine transmission put in the Bel Air. We also hooked up a couple things. We bolted the engine mounts in. It's being held up, and we got the transmission supported right now underneath as well. We went ahead and made our checklist, and I'm just going to go through what our checklist is here to get it running. So first up, we got our Holley Sniper. We got to install that as well as wire it up. Spark plugs, we actually went ahead and got some NGK spark plugs. I think this is the first time we've ever used them on this engine. Engine builder told us this is what we need to run. Went ahead and got them from NGK. Also with the spark plug wires, we got to hook those up. Our radiator, which is on the other side of the garage, our aluminum radiator, I got to hook that up, as well as the hoses for that. What is it?
We got to put distributor in too.
Oh yeah, because we got the Holley dual spark distributor as well to talk with the Holley
Hyperspark.
Hyperspark, that's what it is.
Holley Hyperspark.
The Holley Hyperspark, we got to hook that up as well. The headers and the full exhaust that's still underneath the car, we got to bolt it up, as well as I got to fix a little wiring job. I accidentally cut one of the wires whenever I dropped the headers for the exhaust cutouts. So we got to hook that up as well and fix that. The interior right now, it's kind of bare bones. I took the front seat out because I was maybe going to try and fit in some newer bucket seats that I have over here. I got a set from a 2nd gen Camaro, 3rd gen Trans Am, and Tabby's 94 Impala SS seats. I'm probably going to worry about that later. I just want to kind of get the bench back in there just so I can get it up on the road, and we'll work on that later in the winter probably. I got to put the power steering pump back on, as well as make sure, you know, it's probably out of fluid now, so we got to hook that back up. And then also our cross member for our transmission, we're going to fab up a new cross member. We got some pipe laying over there we're going to fab up. And not to forget, we got to put transmission fluid in the transmission. Once we got it back from my Uncle Kurt at American Powertrain, it doesn't have fluid in it. So that's the last thing we want to do, is start it up and take it for a test drive with no fluid. So we have that in big letters and start. So we're going to get working on this, and hope you guys can join us, and we'll get working.
All right, YouTube, we pulled the old makeshift distributor out there so we wouldn't get no garbage down in it. And now we got to stab in a new distributor. So we got to turn this crank over, make sure we're on a compression stroke to get the number 1 cylinder up the top dead center. The engine builder put a mark on here along with on the harmonic balancer. We had the engine start up, and then we know exactly where it's at, but just want to make sure, show everyone how to do it. So Trevor's gonna put his finger over the number 1 hole, and you should be able to hear the compressor coming out of it. And we'll go until it tops out, and you hear it. And then right there,
Perfect.
right there, top dead center, right there on the mark. Number 1 cylinder's all the way up top. So now we can stab our distributor in there, make sure the rotor is pointed to number 1 cylinder, and then it'll be timed. All right, we had to go down in there and move the oil pump, because you see that, that little rail right there, that's what hits on the oil pump, and that's what makes your oil pump. So we had to move that around a little bit to get it adjusted. Let's see if we got it done right. Well, there we go. All right. The rotor button is pointing to number 1 cylinder. So there's your motor time. All right, so using a Holley Sniper, we went ahead and got a Holley Hyperspark, CD box, coils, and everything. And they send you a phasing cap. We used to have a aftermarket box on it. It was like an MSD, but it wasn't MSD. It was remember the
Assault.
name? Assault Racing. And you had to go through and time, move it, this, that. But now with the Holley Hyperspark, they send you a cap. So once you drop your distributor in there, you just got to turn the distributor to where it lines up. Like that, and that cap sits down over top of it, nice and flush and easy. And that right there, now everything's timed. We can tighten up the bolt and don't have to mess with the timing no more. All right, now it's time to put our Holley Sniper on. I know this plug goes down to the O2 sensor. We're gonna fish that down through there for right now. Trevor's gonna grab all those other sensors. I'm gonna move the gas link, get the throttle linkage around. There you go. So now, it's just a thing of
Plug and play.
Bolting it up and plug and play. Well, this is where we stop. We was going pretty good. Got the carburetor on, got the motor top dead center, got the distributor stabbed in there, got the rotor phased, and I figured we better start trying to get the headers attached. We put new ARP head bolts in it, and now I had the same thing on the crappy Caprice. We got ready to put the headers on, and the flange on the header is hitting the ARP bolts. So now the only way to get this header out is we're going to have to take this bolt out for the motor mount and rock the motor that way to slide this header down, but we want to go through there and mark the bolts and do a little surgery on the flange so that they clear the head bolts. So fun times. You know, it was going way too smooth, but now we got to stop. All right, so we had to jack the motor up on the driver's side to get this header back out because it won't slide in and out with the motor in there. So we took it back out, and I went through here and marked on the flanges here what I got to cut out for the ARP bolts that goes in the head. The flanges is too thick. Like I said, I had to do the same thing on the crappy Caprice. The flanges was hitting the bolts on the head. So I'm gonna take this little burr grinder and see if I can cut all this out. I can't go too much, but I gotta go enough because once you stick it back in there, it's a pain in the butt to get back in. So, all right, that's what we gotta do. All right, so we put the car back up on the lift. You see here, we notched the flange on the headers for the head bolts. Now, we are trained rednecks, professionals. We ain't no professionals, but do not try this at home. Jack it up, and you know we got to pull that motor up on the one side. So what works better is the jack with the 2x4. And right there on the edge of the block, stay off the oil pan. And it was just, you already done? And it was just enough room to jack that side of the motor up about 3 inches. Now we're gonna let it back down. And we probably ain't gonna put those headers on until we get the gaskets in. So, all right, there it is. So this one here, we got to unbolt the header from the exhaust. Get that header out so we can do the same thing. All right, so now we're kind of at a standstill. We got to get some header gaskets in because I don't want to put the power steering pump on. Don't want to put the radiator. This side here is awful tight. And we got the headers notched. the flanges, we done tried them on this side. That side there was bolted up. We've got 2 bolts in the side.
Custom fab.
Yeah, but we like putting the red RTV with the gaskets on the headers. It helps them not to leak. So once we get the gaskets in, we can put the headers on. And once we get the headers on, I'd say honestly, we could probably run the hot battery to the starter, hook the sniper up, and throw the plugs and wires on it, and we can start it up. But there ain't no sense doing all that because I don't want to put the plugs in until get the headers on, and blah blah blah. Have all that wire in front of us. So we're at a standstill. So I think that's all we're gonna do tonight. We're gonna go home, get back inside, go take a shower, and go to bed. It's late. So all right, catch us on the next video.